2018, you had called Dolan a vile piece of trash after he wrote a song titled I Should Have Known about Harvey Weinstein, and Dolan, lacking any sort of self-awareness, I guess expected to be applauded for that song or something. But in response to your criticism, he had barred MSG from doing any business with Odyssey, which was Entercom at the time. So then you fast forward to earlier this year, he's in studio with Carton and Roberts down the hall from you, talking about facial recognition technology to keep his critics from entering the garden. So like, what was that strange with that dynamic of all that going on?
You know, I thought it was a good idea that they had him on, because the first and foremost, like, as much as sports talk radio is about like personalities and ego and like larger than life people who are good at sports talk radio and have done this a long time know it's about your audience. It's always about your audience, and you can never lose sight of that. And that moment in New York, the facial recognition software and everything going on at the Garden was a huge story. So to get Dolan at the time, that's a big coup, and that's great for the Carton and Roberts audience. So I totally understood. I thought that's, and the fact that he was willing to come in and do it, I totally understood it. And I thought that was a smart radio move. It's a smart booking.
So right after the interview, Carton and Roberts were getting criticized by Andrew Marchand on Twitter, and then Marchand called into the show and they discussed it on air. And one of the gripes that Marchand had with the interview was that they didn't mention you during it. So do you think that your name should have been broached during that interview, or even just in general, the topic of like Dolan, should Dolan have been asked about the decision to sever ties with Odyssey based on that criticism?
I would never tell another radio host or host how to do their job. I would never, ever do that. I'm not in the room. Yeah. I'm not privy to their pre-production and what they wanted to get out of that interview. So I would never criticize another host for that. It was their James Dolan interview. They got to do with it what they wanted. And that is totally, totally up to them. Never up to me.
Was there concern for your job after the Dolan fallout at all?
Oh yeah. I mean, definitely. Definitely. And I appreciate that Odyssey stuck by me at the time, because that was a very delicate situation. I mean, when one thing that I said that, has these ripple effects in the company, and to people who weren't even on the sports side, on the music side and other things, I was really, because Dolan owns so many music venues, obviously, I was very appreciative that they stuck with me. I thought that they would, because they had been supportive of me that whole time, even the day of, when I did say that about him, when I called him that name, which got too personal, and I'll totally admit that. But I was definitely worried. Absolutely. And I know that there were obviously some conversations that happened. So yeah, I appreciate that Odyssey stuck by me.